I was chewing my nephew out today, and I was chewing his ass out one day driving his pickup.
There's something about y'all.
And I took my phone and it flipped and went right in my Coca-Cola.
Oh.
And
Anybody else need something in here?
Well, yeah, y'all worrying me now. If y'all need something out of this ice
Give me a yoo-hoo if there's one in there.
I'm joking. I've got up on the side.
All right, 2 thumbs up already. Look at that.
What?
Y'all are live.
Oh, well, you already live?
I did. I said y'all ready to go live.
Already live?
We're live right now. That's right.
Well, you didn't
Hello.
Now, we could have been talking ugly.
Noel,
Welcome to a
Daniela,
closed area
Boots on the
here.
ground with Bar,
We could have done this talking
Matrix 7, Miss Owens, JJ. JJ's going on the trip with us. That's Jerry Pajerski, Elizabeth Salmon, Big Rob, Beast of the Woods, Junewell Brantley, Strip Bear. Hello, everybody. Miss M's Lionheart, B. Harold,
Too bad they don't know.
Daniela said hello. Daniela said hello, everyone.
Hello.
Miss Ann, Joseph Kaluuya. I guess that's how you say that. I will butcher your name. I promise you I will. Look, Debbie had me trekking all through the woods. She made me do it.
You followed me in, though, after I came out. I cleared the way for you, Karen.
Yeah, she went in with no gun, just going in. There's something hot down there on the flare. Gotta go see what it is.
I had what? You had the air horn? I had the air horn, yeah.
Oh, you got
She
it.
had the air horn. He had the gun.
Yeah, Shaggy McScraggy.
Makes it out alive.
So it sounds like y'all are having a good time.
Yeah, we
Yep, and nobody's even drinking.
Um,
Ryan Dawson, hey Chev.
Yoo-hoo.
We'll take a Red Bull if you got one.
yeah.
Ryan's from Canada.
Oh,
Wow.
our neighbors to the north.
We are having fun.
B. Harold says, I'm living vicariously through all of y'all camping out.
Ah. It's
7
good.
p.m. to 7 a.m.
We are.
Hello, Chris Jarvis.
Hearing some stuff.
Pappy Two Bears. Gordon.
And he's draining all my energy.
Had a good time at the conference today. And we had something was going on here earlier back that way. We're gonna do drone footage and interviews tomorrow, and we'll be done with this sucker. Elizabeth. Bigfoot rules.
That's right.
Rock on.
Wonder Pup, how are you? Well, I hope everybody's getting what they wanted here, a campfire with a bunch of ladies and me.
No.
They made Linda an honorary sister of the moon. She's even got the shirt. They didn't make me one though.
You're a mooner.
I felt left out. They didn't make me one.
Oh, heck. I'll find you.
Michael,
I got some.
that's all right.
You'll have to wear the Sister of the Moon.
It don't say squashers on the back.
Look, they already
Mascot of the Moon Sisters.
they're already getting me in a blonde wig.
That's it. I like
Doing-
that. He's a mooner.
Yeah.
Yep. Miss Diane Fowler, how are you? How's everybody? How about a story? Somebody?
I think we volunteered Debbie to say that.
Debbie's got some. She's done told them all.
Debbie talks a lot.
Tell about our second night at Tribulation Day.
Damn, Larry's not going to ever let me live that down now.
We're gonna
He's going to say, I told you so.
All right. How about y'all hit that thumbs up while you're at it, everybody? Hey, Andy. All right. Night number 2 at Tribulation Bay. What happened, Debbie?
Night number 2.
Yep.
Well, we decided we were definitely going to set some recorders out early since we had needed them at 7:45 the night before. So I went out, setting out recorders. To my left, I put one up, told the time, and then moved over 50 yards away, hanging up the second one. When I was hanging up that second one, I heard what sounded like a cough, just like I had heard the night before when we had 8 of them, 8 coughs going around our tent over a few periods.
Describe it.
What?
Describe.
Well, it was just a 2-syllable cough, like
Okay.
like that. And I thought Barbara had been out in the woods hanging glow lights, you know, the little glow necklaces, and I thought she was still out there, and I thought it was her that had called. So I said, well, there's Miss Barbara, and she didn't answer back, so I hollered, Barbara. She still didn't answer back, so I turned around and I said, Barbara, and she popped her head out from camp way back behind me, not over to the left where I just heard the cough.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, did you just cough? She said, no. I said, did any of y'all? Because Barbara and Henry and Carrie were in camp. And she said, no. And then I thought, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, wait a minute. And I hightailed it back to camp. Long story short, since I do talk so much. When I listened to the recorder, it just sounded like a call. But when I put it on the computer a long time later, after I finally got one that would work, and was listening to the playback, it sounded like it said, hey, Debbie, plain as day.
Yes.
Plain
Mm.
as day.
Do we have that on the record? Did you send me that?
It's
It
hard
does
to
sound-
hear
it does-
because it almost sounds like a whisper.
I can enhance it.
But
no,
yeah,
it does sound
it-
very much like
It
it's
breaks
saying that.
my name into two definite syllables, just like that. It's like, hey, Debbie. And then that
That's
got me
creepy.
wondering.
It is very
Oh, I got
Can,
chills.
can y'all hear better now?
I'm getting the phone.
But yeah, I can hear it good on
Yeah.
Linda's phone.
Okay. Yeah, I heard it. Well, they were saying they couldn't hear you,
Yeah.
so I got a little closer. That fire's hot here. Look.
So,
Very
and it's all,
Woo!
gotta have a fire though.
We should have had this fire at noon.
You need to get up closer to her so they can hear the stories.
Well,
Okay.
That was pretty much the story.
That was it.
But I have to say that it did make me wonder about what I thought were coughs the night before. And then I wondered, were they coughs? Now that I know that what I thought was a cough that second night was something that definitely sounded like it was saying Debbie.
Well, it did to me too.
And
It says, hey, Debbie.
plain as
It
day.
does. It says it very plain.
Which another thing is, it was 7:45 at night when I was setting out those recorders, and it was the middle of September, so it was still
Pretty light.
pretty light. We had, you know, a lot of tree coverage, so that was blocking out a lot of light. But it was still pretty light, and it was just to my left, and I had the recorder hung up over my head in that tree, so it was at least 6 foot off the ground. But whatever said that sounded like a whisper, and it sounded like it was really close to that tree. And I just can't imagine, you know, what would be there so close in daylight when we were all just real close, you know, in proximity. 150 feet maybe at the most. Wouldn't you say, Barbara?
We weren't far apart at all.
Yeah.
But the woods are really thick right there.
Yeah,
So it
it's
could have
thick.
been camouflaged in the woods easily.
I don't know. It was just one of those things that make you go,
Okay, look. How about, all right, I'm going to let everybody get to see. I know it's probably dark right now. The camera. And I want Debbie to tell. Make sure I got it. All right. About the, like the 14 necklaces, and you didn't get them all back, and then Barbara, you went back and found them, right?
Well, I just happened to find them when I pulled the pallet away from the tree.
All right, let's get the beginning of the story so we can get it in chronological order of what y'all did. Y'all put the necklaces out, and then you finding the ones y'all couldn't find, right?
okay.
2 weeks apart.
2 weeks
Yeah,
apart.
2 weeks apart. We had we were camping at the place we call the Killing Field in southeast Oklahoma, and we had just in an undisclosed location. We had previously that day or the day before. No, it was that day. We had found about 3 acres of bones, just tons of bones. 29 bodies of deer, where the tailbone, spinal cord, everything, head antlers on some, and then tons of other bones just scattered all over this field. So we were camping not far away from that. We had had an incident where something had been hitting the chimes in the middle of the night, and I had stood up and was looking out, watching it happen. We had seen movement through our tents because of the fire that was going. A lot of activity, and we had, before we'd gone to bed, we had hung out 14 glow necklaces in the tree line. That way, if anything moved in front of it, it would black them out, and we would be able to see that something was out there. So the next day, when we woke up, we were trying to recreate the chimes the way it happened because it was just crazy. Couldn't do it, so a couple of the other girls had found a print. They were casting the print, and then we had gone out there to get the glow necklaces, and there were no longer 14, there were only 9 left out there. And we looked all over and couldn't find the other 5. So fast forward to 2 weeks later, we had come back to the same location to camp. And Barbara was with us this night, and it was February. And so we had a fire going, and the fire was right by the tree where the chimes had been hanging. And we had left all of our firewood out there from the previous 2 times we'd been out there. And under those where the chimes had been hanging was a pallet. And so this particular night, I had said something to Barbara, or she just grabbed that pallet and was going to rip off the wood off of the pallet. And so when she moved that pallet away from the tree, 5 glow necklaces rode out from under that pallet. And those, I guess they'd been there ever since they'd disappeared 2 weeks earlier, but none of us put those glow necklaces under that pallet.
I was really shocked. That's why I asked you, did you put these here?
Yeah, and I was in awe, and I was excited because I was like, no, we did not put those there, but something did.
Yeah, something did, definitely.
We are in East Texas, booger capital of the South.
Definitely.
Yeehaw, Texas. That's right.
Piney Woods of East Texas. Beautiful, beautiful place to have fun boogering.
Yep.
That just don't make any sense at all.
Have fun boogering? Yeah.
Boogering?
You know,
Yes, have fun boogering.
I always
That
have
is
fun
that's
boogering.
so counterintuitive.
Well, what the hell does counterintuitive mean?
To me,
It's
it
like
does.
an oxymoron. You
even
can't
know
have
what that
fun
is.
boogering to him because it's terrifying.
It's
Right.
fun. We love boogering.
Camping's. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, we heard a lot of stuff.
That's okay. I can hear every mouse fart out here, y'all. So. All right, we have 82 people waiting. Who's got the next story?
Talk a little bit about Georgia. Y'all want me to tell about the juvenile?
Yeah.
Oh, tell about juvenile that you saw at your.
All right, Sandy's gonna tell us about the juvenile.
All right, I lived in an undisclosed location in Broken Arrow, Broken Bow, South Georgia, also known as Jessup. Anyways,
Don't tell them anymore.
no, I can't tell you no more. I live in a house, and off my back bedroom, I have a French door, and I have a porch. And I have a little teacup chihuahua that I let out just about every night because she's going to wake me up to let her out. Well, this night, it was probably about 2 or 3 days before a complete full moon, and it had a little bit of an overcast clouds, but nothing major. But the yard was lit up nicely, but it wasn't lit up super bright. And I also, off my backyard, I have an above ground pool. This pool probably 4.5, 5 foot tall. And the siding on this above ground pool is white. Well, Sadie Mae, who's my puppy, she's so tiny, she probably weighs maybe 2 pounds. She had to go potty. And I always pull back the curtains off my French door and look outside before I let her outside to make sure there's not something out in the yard that could possibly harm her. And then I usually open the door and let her go out and potty, and I'll stand there and watch her. Well, this night I pulled back the curtain and I seen this movement. It was dark and it was moving incredibly fast. It would go like a half a moon in front of the pool, back and forth in front of the pool, back and forth, really, really rapid pace. And it was like whatever it was on 2 feet, and it seemed like it was just super, super excited. It was like dart, dart, dart back in front of the pool, and then it would dart into the center of the yard. Now, when it darted into the center of my backyard, which was directly in front of my door, I know it's hard. All that's back that way is black woods. I couldn't see it once it did that. And then it would, just a moment, it would dart right back into the pool range where I could see the black silhouette of it against that white pool, going back and forth again, super excited. Then it would dart to the center of the yard again, and I kept going, what in the name of God am I seeing? Am I dreaming this? I even closed my eyes one time and I opened them and it disappeared, and then there it appeared again in front of that pool doing that same little crazy excited dance. That's almost what it felt like, but it was just moving really, really fast. And I thought, what in the name of God am I watching? And I probably watched it, I know, I'm going to say 15, 20 seconds. And I said, there's no way I'm seeing this. I'm losing my freaking mind. So I turned on my back porch light, and naturally it disappeared. But what I did discover, there was an armadillo rooting around in the center of my yard.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that was
Trying to get that
trying to either play with that armadillo, or it was trying to catch it or something. But it actually helped me to confirm that I had not absolutely lost my mind. And what this was, it was dark, it was upright, and I would say it was maybe 4.5 foot tall. And the more I thought about it and analyzed what I had seen, I really think I've seen a juvenile Sasquatch, pretty much not much more than a toddler probably for them.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
what was so amazing was the speed.
It was so
moving.
fast.
It was like a blur.
Oh, a blur, yeah.
Can everybody hear better now that I'm getting close to the storyteller?
Yeah.
We're hearing it just fine.
Yeah, well, no doubt. Armadillo. That's right, Radolph.
She did. She said armadillo.
That's what armadillos. Yeah, they're armadillos.
Hey, y'all don't make fun of us.
No, we all sophisticated down in South Georgia.
That's right. Linda Arnold has got the most thick Southern accent you ever heard.
I got a cute little accent.
You do.
Y'all notice he agreed with me, right?
You got him trained well.
Y'all like my accent, don't y'all?
Linda Arnold's gonna tell us her story when she got creeped out.
Oh, I am?
Yep,
I've
and
never told nobody.
Now
have I?
it's time for everybody to hear it.
Yeah,
There's
since you're
Ah.
a member of the sisterhood.
100 people are listening. 106.
Okay, well, I'll tell them. All right, everybody knows I've never seen a Bigfoot. But back, I don't know, Hunter was a baby, so we're talking 15 years ago. We had a shooting house in the back of our property.
What's a shooting house? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't mess with me. Anyway, we had a shooting house, and behind the shooting house is the pond. So you always heard the frogs and stuff. And then on the other 3 sides is nothing but woods. And there's the trail coming in for the 4-wheel and the trail going out the
You don't have
4-wheeler.
to- You don't have to. You can just tell them.
And so I'm back there, and we decided to plant some peas back there. So I'd come in from work, and I'd get on the 4-wheeler with my bucket and go down there and plant the peas. And go down there to pick some peas. I'd get between 2 rows and be picking off the 2 rows. Well, this afternoon I went down there, and it was a little late, probably about 5:30. And I had gotten between the 2 rows, picked 2 hills, and then just stood up, because everything was completely quiet, and it wasn't crickets, it was complete quiet. And there was this one little area of the woods, it felt like it was coming. Whatever was staring me down was coming from there, and it wasn't coyotes or bobcats, because I mean, we deal with those. And I said, well, it's nothing, and I went back to picking, didn't even get the one hill, next hill finished when I stood back up because it just all of a sudden got eerie. And I don't scare easily. But the bucket got left, I got on the four-wheeler, and I cut a new path to the house. And I told my husband, I said, okay, that's it, I'm through. The deers can have the peas. I told him what had happened. And then that's when he told me he had been in the shooting house before and he had gotten that eerie feeling from the area because it's pitch black in that area. You couldn't see anything. So that was what happened. I've never told him about that.
Well, thank you.
You will.
And I'll tell you what, I'll tell one of my little shooting house stories. Out in the 204 lease for 7 years, and I'd probably heard this 10 or 15. I sit in the shooting house, I see out the right. I can see out the front. I can see out slowly easing where I can look out over, because as soon as I see him, I know I'm getting buck fever at this point. Thing out and looked, I hear the footsteps. Like I said, it's probably happened 10 or 15 times before I ever saw, what was actually out there. So that's my little shooting house story that I'm sure everybody's already heard. All right, who we got now? Patty. 100
Well,
are listening.
we had on our last trip that we went to an undisclosed location near Broken Bow Lake in Georgia. And it was a beautiful place, and it was at the top of a mountain that it took about 45 minutes to get to. And it was the only road up. So, you saw anybody that would have come up there, we would have seen them. And so we were up there. We got, up there and got, even before we got there, though, Sandy had been sitting by the fire and she had heard calls, right, Sandy? When it calls, 2 calls. So anyway, we get there and we're late. It's like, what time do we get there? 4 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we get there that night, and so we finally go to bed, and gosh, I'm trying to remember. It was like we got up the next day, and we were gone pretty much most of that day, I guess. And then we come back that evening, and we're back by the fire again, and we set out all the recorders, and we're just sitting there doing our thing, not just talking and just acting normal. And finally, we go to bed, and I always like to sleep with my back to the back of the tent, and Debbie's usually kind of up at the front, but we're with because she has a huge tent. So we get in there and we go to bed, and I'm a very light sleeper. I always hear everything, and it's probably because my dogs wake me up so much. I hear every little thing, but Debbie's asleep, but she's not really within reach, and I'm in my cot asleep, and I hear something walking behind us, and I can hear it. Definitely, it's walking. It's not like dragging its feet. It's walking, and I hear it walk behind me, and then I hear it go up the side of the tent, and I say to myself, okay, you're not going to be terrified like you were that first time something came to the tent. I said, you're going to sit up. So I sat up. And when I sat up, we had set out the little Coleman lanterns up front. We had 3, didn't we, Debbie? Mm-hmm. They're the little ones, but we had one way to this side, one way to that side, and one on Barbara's truck. So there was enough light that you could see a little bit. I mean, it wasn't bright, but you could definitely see. And then we had a nice fire. Well, I listened. I sat up on the edge of my seat, and I thought, I'm going to listen. I said, I'm not going to be scared this time. I'm going to listen, and I may get up and go walk if I can get up without making noise. So I listen, and I hear it walk over where we have some tables where we keep our food. And I can hear something over there, but I couldn't really see. We had the tent mesh you could see, but we had our tents together, so there wasn't a lot. You couldn't see right through there because they were backed up to each other. But I hear something walking, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, do I get my camera? Do I get my phone and try to look out there and take a picture? But the flash was on my camera, and I knew if I took a picture, it would flash. So I just sit there and I listened, and I heard it walk, and all of a sudden, in that light that you could see very well in the front of the tent, I see something walk right by in front of me. And it's standing there. It's very thin. It's not bulked up, but it's thin and lanky, really, is kind of the way I would say it's lanky. But its hands, I remember this very well. I could see little tufts of hair like on the top of its head, but I could see that its hands went all the way down to its knees. Had very long arms, but it just kind of very slowly walked right there. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm about to die. I'm having a heart attack. My heart's pounding out of my chest again, and I'm thinking, do I get up? But it just kind of slowly walks there, and then it's out of the light view, and then I can hear it walking back behind. And so I'm sitting there about to die, and I'm trying to reach Debbie. And Debbie's over here on her cot, and I'm trying so hard to reach her without waking up. And my arm is not quite long enough, but I'm over there reaching, and I'm thinking, oh my God. So I couldn't reach her. So that was probably, I guess, about 4:30 in the morning.
Grabbed a sleeping bag and pulled me, and
Well, I
still
was
didn't
trying to
wake
pull
up.
the corner, but you weren't budging.
Grab my hair.
And so I finally, what I did was when I leaned over like this, I feel her head of her hair, and I just jerked it as hard as I can.
Like 3 strands.
And she goes like, what? Like that. And I'm like, get up, wake up, wake up,
Well,
wake up.
You
I
were
was
mouthing
whispering.
at
I was
me.
like
Nothing
going,
was coming out.
I was going, Debbie, as loud as I could, And she was like, wait.
But it was
we're
too
trying.
late.
It
It
was
had
too
all
late.
ended.
Everything had all ended by then. But that was the second night, I guess, because we were there, 3 nights?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was kind of exciting because we tested the next night with the exact same time and the same setup with the lights and everything. Debbie was inside, and I said, okay, I'm going to walk right in front of this tent, and I want you to tell me, can you tell what I am? And she said, I can see you perfectly. I can tell your silhouette. I can see everything. I can see that it's you. So, you pinch yourself and think, am I dreaming what I'm seeing? But literally, it was probably...
It was close.
It was close. Like if I'm laying here, the edge of the tent is where the fire is, and so it's just you. And I could tell how tall it was, exactly on the tent, and it just kind of very slowly walked that way, and then it went back that way. And behind us was a game trail that went way down to the side of the. It was a big drop off down there, but it was there were game trails all back behind us. And
that next night is when the rock was thrown into camp.
The
When we was right by
next
your
night
head.
we had been out
Hit the
that
bucket.
day too, and we were all sitting just like this, basically
It
at the
was
fire.
Very eventful.
And all of a sudden, between Sandy and I, there was a bucket, and all of a sudden this rock comes whirling out of the woods fast. It wasn't like it fell out of something. It was like something threw it with force.
I saw it, and it was coming just perfect. It didn't come looping
Yeah, it
down
went
like this.
that
It
way.
came right between y'all.
And it hit the bucket. And we were all like, okay.
Got all that on audio.
Yeah, that's on there.
We had 7 recorders out.
Yeah.
Well, I know y'all got some killer audio that's going to be in this episode. 122.
They all want a campfire song. So y'all know.
You
Who's-
want to
I
sing
can't
Come
buy
By Y'all?
They say for Carrie to sing Little Sister since he ain't boys.
Carrie, you have a request.
Yeah, that's Rick Wells.
Uh-huh.
He can
What's
request.
bigger?
He can keep on requesting. Rick ain't got enough money for me to sing that right now.
Hey, I was a Girl Scout. I sang Kumbaya, and I went to church camp.
I'd rather hear Little
He's wanting me to
Sister
sing Little Sister by Dwight Yoakam.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
See, so
some old coal miner songs?
I don't know any.
I don't either. I'm a coal miner's
Oh,
daughter.
that's
yeah,
what I
that's
was
about it.
just
That's the
saying.
only one I know.
Diane Henry made that fire. She's been a
split all that wood myself.
perfect steward for the fire.
Henry is, she's an awesome fire starter.
She is.
Okay.
It's like, oh,
Henry,
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
you got a crowd. We want to hear about some Bigfoot. You seeing some Bigfoots? What was that story you told us last night? That was a good one.
I was camping with a group. We were camped alongside a creek that was run up the campsites, and I was in the second to the last one. And the guy that was in the last one was over talking to me, but he had a big fire going in his place. He didn't have a tent. He had a canopy with a tarp around it. And I wonder if that. Anyway, about 3:30, behind us, and down in the creek, there was a animal in distress call, and it was three sounds, but it was one long call. And I remember the second one was a quack, and the third one was the bark. I can't remember what the first one was. So I went over there to look and look down into darkness, and then I could see the shadows from his fire. And I turned and looked, and there were three Bigfoots, or there was two coming in there, and a little one. And then here comes Big Daddy. That's what I called him. I've got, I say that there was Big Daddy, Mama, Big Sister, and Little Brother. And Little Brother we had been seeing for a couple of nights, I think, coming in through the camp, because it wasn't, I mean, there were a lot of people there. And Big Daddy come walking in there, and it was just like unbelievable. And Jim, the guy I was with, he said, put that stuff back. And the big one just turned around and looked at him for a second, and then just turned his back on him. And that was a life-changing experience for me, because I knew then that I was down a couple of notches. But they were going, the little one would go in the tent and come back, and he was stay. They were like they were sitting at the table. The three larger ones were with their backs to us, and the little one would sit like he was ahead of the table. And he'd be perfectly still while they ate. Jim said he had lost his Pop-Tarts. While they ate or looked at stuff or whatever they were doing. Then I told Jim that I was gonna do a little research in here, and I had my night vision. It's a first generation. It's just a cheap one, but it's got a separate IR light. And I aimed it right in the middle of the back of Big Daddy, and I turned it on. And I saw him squatted down, and then the next instant, was coming to an abrupt stop from a left-hand turn, and all the hair on his arm and on its side was standing straight out, and he was locked in on me with that IR light on him. And so I handed it over to Jim, and I said, "Did you see that?" And Jim said, "There's one on 4x4 coming down the trail. Turn it off." And so I did, and then it just went back to normal. Then they went across the street to the woman and the two kids and the dog that had barked all day. And so Jim and I went back up to his camp. He said, "I need to go check my electronics." And his air mattresses, his air mattress was pulled out, and he said everything was put back. But as we were walking up there, it was Mama, I think. She was right in the tree line, and she saw us, and she just backed up into the trees as though she didn't want to get what we got. That's not what I'm saying. She did that just so you'll understand how she just backed up in there. But we could see Big Daddy over there pilfering in their campsite. And then in a minute, I heard a zipper back down at mine. So I said, "Let's go back down there." Because I didn't want man or beast looking in my stuff. And we went back down there, and then they came back to Jim's, and they were pilfering some more. And then they got down on the ground and was crawling in the briars and stuff in between the camps, I guess waiting for us to go to bed so they could go through our stuff. But I was standing there watching them crawl up there because I could see their eye shine, and there was 5 eye shines, so I knew there was 3 there. And then they just came to a stop, and they just were looking at me and looking at them, looking at me, looking at them. And then it was just a little bit. There was a wood knock, and I saw them start backing out, and I heard them hit the creek, and then I heard the dogs barking on down the creek. So I don't know. This went for about 40 minutes. We watched these things. It was unbelievable. I remember my friend Jim. He said, "I've seen things that I won't ever say anything about because they're so unbelievable," and I wonder what that could be because that was pretty unbelievable. That was in a park though. The people come out and exercise on the hiking trails, and I think the track team practices out there running, and people come out there and eat lunch. It's always busy. But
Quite a few sightings out there.
yeah.
All right, that's awesome. Kyle Long is single, ladies. Yeah.
Does he go to Walmart or
Yeah, I don't know if he goes to Walmart or Lowe's, but he's a flat earther. Wonder why he's single. Sorry, Kyle. Had to do it, buddy. I can't tell if you're wearing clothes in your picture or not, though. It's kind of,
I don't think that's his picture.
it's kind of small. I wonder if.
Post a picture.
Oh, wait, let me show you.
All right, moderators, where y'all at? 123 watching.
This
All right.
This is his channel, lady. That's his picture.
Well, we're trying to get you hooked up, Kyle.
Oh, my Lord, mercy. Tell the lady to take that.
Yeah, they're all checking you out right now, Kyle. Yeah. Don't try to troll
Glad I
crypto.
didn't have my glasses. I don't know. I couldn't see anything.
Look, Kyle, everybody's checking you out right now,
I
buddy.
think I see his wiener.
Oh my goodness.
But you can't tell.
Oh my goodness.
But it's in the right area.
All right.
Mr. Woodman?
Thank you, moderators.
Oh, God.
I think the moderators took care of Kyle. Thank y'all. that was beautiful.
Hey, air
High five. Hey, y'all know if I think it's coming out this lips.
Poor Kyle.
All they can do is say ha 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 and chat. They can't do anything.
I know. Well, we got 9 moderators in here just watching it.
They were enjoying it for a minute. They took care of it.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was funny. Chef got him. Diane said Chef got him.
Wouldn't say we had a sighting anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we had a sighting. Had to go live on Bigfoot Odyssey to have a sighting.
My gold monster just came in and said, "What the hell did I just watch?"
Yeah, had a sighting. How about that? Kyle Long.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Okay, 129.
Excuse me.
Okay, Barbara.
Okay.
You have you do some habituating, correct?
Yes.
At your home.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about just talk right to the fire,
Okay.
and everybody can hear you. 130 people
Oh,
watching.
all right. Well, I've lived
Plus
in
us.
my home since 2005 and just started having things I didn't understand about. I really wasn't into Bigfooting at the time I started hearing this, but I kind of thought maybe in the back of my mind it was, and I would hear howls, and I had gates I couldn't keep closed, had my propane tank pushed off the stand, started finding baby footprints in my barn. So finally I just got a hold of somebody that came to my house to talk to me and pretty much confirmed, yes, you've got Bigfoot out here. So I just started trying to learn how to communicate with them. So I started with sticks, putting sticks in my yard. Well, I didn't put the sticks in my yard. I put the sticks out in my pasture, an area I had in my pasture. But I started finding sticks in my front yard, which I did never have sticks up there before. But whatever way I would turn my sticks in the pasture, say north and south, the next morning when I would wake up, sticks in my yard would be pointing north and south. If I could go out there the next day and turn them east and west, when I would be turning with a north, east and west. It didn't matter whichever way I turn them. I could even turn them diagonal. My golf carts together. One night, there was a big comet close to, and I was in my court. And next to my house, on the north side of my house, I have a large area of cedar. And out of this cedar tree, I could just hear this clacking. I'm so fast. There's no way I could do it. I couldn't do it as fast as it was being done. Well, it scared me, and I got off my golf cart and walked to my front door, and it stopped. Well, I stood there and thought about it for a few seconds, and so I walked back out in my front yard, and as soon as I get out there and sit on my golf cart again, these rocks start clacking together. I've just never heard anything about it. I'm like it before, and I walked back and forth from my front door to the golf cart 3 times, and every time I would move out there or go back out in the front yard, it would clack these rocks at me. Well, it scared me. I mean, I'm out in my front yard by myself, and I'm hearing something out of the woods clacking rocks at me, so I just went inside.
Yeah.
But I've had howls. I've had headless rabbits brought to my house. I had a deer leg thrown on my house. Out in my hayfield on my little trail, I had 2 skulls left there for me. I had a big cow skull left on one end, and on the other end was like a deer, maybe a deer or even a dog, because over the years I'd had like 7 dogs just disappear. But that's the kind of things that go on there, and I let them have
Well,
it at night. It's their world
awesome.
at night.
Thank you, Barbara. We buffered there for a little bit. I apologize, y'all. We are out in the middle of nowhere. I tell you what, we'll end this here shortly. Let's do a little Q&A, just a little bit. Barbara, Patty, Debbie, Sandy, and Henry. I apologize. All right.
Picked on a lot.
Oh, we have had a really good time, y'all. Okay, questions. Anybody have any questions for the sisters while we're live right here, just for the moment? What we got?
I just gotta turn my little red flicker
Don't
back.
turn that light on.
Please record all these stories, Carrie. You know what, Rick? I think I forgot them all already. We recorded some last night and some tonight. We're gonna do sit-down interviews tomorrow and drone footage, and we got some setup shots to do, and we got a lot of stuff of the conference, a lot of promos, a lot of stuff going in this one, a lot of dynamics. Y'all are gonna love this one.
Especially with that, the way you described it with that barrel. Yeah.
This does say it's reconnecting again. Why am I having such a problem with my internet?
Hey, it's buffering a little bit too. We've been on there a minute too.
It says I'm live.
Let me go
Okay,
back. There you are.
any more questions? First time caller, how many of y'all have seen one with your own eyes? Debbie, Sandy, and Henry. So 3 of the 5 have seen one with their own eyes, and that was Hot Shot 71, 2003. With that question, I hope that answered your question. Please explain how you had 7 dogs go missing. Who had 7 dogs go? Yes, Barbara.
Over the years, I had an old hound dog that she was constantly having puppies, so I always had a bunch of dogs. But they would just never show back up one day. They
Okay,
was gone.
so
They
just
was-
over the years, dogs just go missing.
And I did one time. this same dog had a litter of puppies, and she had a little boy dog, one little boy puppy, and this little puppy was probably about 4 weeks old, and he just disappeared. And we hunted and hunted and looked for this little puppy several days. Well, we figured after 2 or 3 days, the little puppy's gone.
Yeah.
Coyotes came up or something and got him. A week later, my husband has a big tool shed out in behind the house. My father-in-law went out to this shed, and it has a door you have to open and close. And he opened this door, and he heard something. And he pulled back a piece of carpet that was in there, and that puppy was under that carpet.
Mm.
But it wasn't starved. It wasn't dead. It was fat and sassy.
Huh. Now, did you keep feed in the barn?
Horse feed locked up in a barn.
Horse feed, so you never like had any feed come up missing or anything like that?
No. Never mess with the feed.
Okay, here's one. Who came up and why do you call yourselves Sisters of the Moon?
Henrietta came up with that. Yeah.
Okay, that's an old Fleetwood Mac deal.
Exactly it.
Yeah, I'm a Stevie Nicks fan.
Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
All right, so Henry's a Stevie Nicks fan. If you actually go to YouTube and put in Sisters of the Moon, you will not find these ladies. You will find Fleetwood Mac. I already know this because I already did this. So, y'all have a YouTube channel?
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well you guys have been on, and actually y'all are gonna come on our show after the documentary comes out, right?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. We'll get everybody on there. Let's see. Any strange vocals mimicking other animals?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we heard that. Tribulation Bay.
Tribulation Bay. That's a big yes on that, Don.
Strange voices mimicking big trucks.
Yeah, we've had them mimicking electronic sounds like a power saw. We heard what sounded like big truck motors, but these were all coming from the middle of the woods where nothing was electronic.
And we heard those in Oklahoma and Georgia.
That's right, Oklahoma and Georgia on the big truck motor sound.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a loud, deep growl.
Yeah. It sounds
Kinda.
like a car driving away. The night up there in
I've heard 'em.
Georgia, that would sound like cars driving down the highway.
Yeah.
See, I've heard that.
When I listened on my recorder, those long, what we thought was somebody driving away, you could hear the slightest little breaks,
In between.
about 2 or 3 breaks in between that
It was
long
real
howl.
deep.
It would be real fast, and you wouldn't even notice it just sitting around.
We were on top of a mountain.
Yeah,
so
but
there
hearing
wasn't
on the
any roads
recorder,
or
I
no
could hear the
roads other
brakes.
than where we were.
Has your house ever been hit?
My house, no. I have had my back door pushed in.
Y'all are y'all are digging a little bit deep, okay? You're gonna get to watch the documentary. So let's see. How about peeking through the window?
No, but I've had
Anybody?
house.
She said, like, you had your windows crack in your bed. and
We
y'all
didn't
heard-
even have the windows open. We were
Oh,
had
okay.
turned off everything and went to bed, and
about-
we're climbing into bed, and we hear somebody talking. And my husband gets up. He says, "I must have left the TV on in the living room." And he gets up and he goes in there, and there's no TV, but you can hear these voices. You can't make out what they're saying. It's just enough to where it's like somebody mumbling.
But it was outside your window.
It was
wasn't
outside our window.
Didn't you have something happen to a TV one time?
Do what?
Something happened to a TV?
Oh, that is. I forgot about that. My son used to like to sleep with the screen off his window. And he had a table in front of it, and he had 2 televisions on it. Well, one morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, there was just the awfulest noise come out of his bedroom, and I thought he was messing around there, and I yelled at him, "Go back to sleep." Well, the next morning, he said, "Mama," he said, "something reached through my window and..."
Okay. That's all right, y'all. We're my battery's about to die here, so we're gonna be calling it. Thank you everyone for joining us. We had 134 there at one point.
Awesome.
Yeah. And Linda, that was a good answer. Someone asked how much fun I was having.
I said, he's got 6 women out here. He's surrounded by 6 women. Yes, he's having fun.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thank y'all for coming with us. Well, we're going to finish filming tomorrow, and y'all give me about 4 or 5 days to get this thing put together. We'll have it out.
All right.
Probably see y'all Wednesday, this Blue Line Wednesday. So, everybody, good night. Say good night.
Good night.
Sweet dreams.
Oh.
From an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of Texas. Good night, y'all.